As July 1953 dawned, it appeared some kind of deal was close at hand.
We knew it was getting close. Every night we would listen. Probably one guy or two would have a radio in the whole damn company. So you were arguing, fighting with him because he wanted to hear country music. I want to hear jazz. But anyway, when that came on about the ceasefire, it was big news. It was right now, we knew it. And then at the end, on 27th of July, 1953, when it stopped, boy, we shut up like 4th of July. We was on the hill because we did not want to had to carry all them damn ammo down the hill. And we did, we were blowing up. And that was a great day. The war, they stopped. But as I look back at my time, I said, boy, I was lucky. 20 years old, 19 years old, in Korea. What in the hell's Korea, And I think it's very smart what they do. They get the youngest kid. Wasn't scared of nothing, see. Hoping I can see something so I can be bad man with my gun, Not knowing that, hell, I might get hit. But that wasn't in my mind.
The fighting had lasted 3 years, 1 month, and 3 days. Technically, both countries are still at war. With few exceptions, the ceasefire has endured for 70 years. As they came home, some of the soldiers brought wounds that they kept hidden. Dennis Dorman clearly remembers the day the ceasefire was signed. He was still drinking to blot out the memories of combat.
I stayed drunk for a lot of years. Went through a couple of wives. And then my third wife said one day, she said, something's got to go, you or the booze. And for the first time in my life, I thought more of someone than I did of something. And I said, I'll quit. And I had to go to jail that weekend before I finally got my act together. And I've been sober 47 years now. I've had people say, well, you're a hero, and I tell them, the heroes are still there. I'm here. They're my heroes.
Bill Harrison had difficulty sleeping when he returned.
Most nights I had nightmares, I remember. Only sometimes in my dreams I see a lot more detail than I realized I did then. I was finally diagnosed with what they called post-combat stress then, but I got past that. Once I knew what it was, I could deal with it. I never even told my wife anything.
Don Stuva spent years wondering if his service in Korea was worth it.
I've often thought to myself, I would never ever want to go through that again or wish anybody else to go through it, and yet the experience there, I realize what it is by far more than I would if I never went through it. And so that's the only good thing I can see about it. I can share that war is hell, and that's what basically avoid it if it's all possible. But I didn't really believe in it because I thought, what good is it? What are we doing here? Why are we fighting? And it wasn't until years later when I began to realize the importance of fighting for freedom.